Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by... No, what was I going to do? I'd already thought of a thing for you this week, but I've forgotten it already. Oh, the fuck you, Miko. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. That'll do. It wasn't exactly where I was going to go.
At the moment.
Well, fuck you, Miko.
Well, actually, one is I'm fancy. I've got double screens, and one is Corona going, "What the fuck," and the other is "We are fuck you" with Miko with sunglasses.
That's good. That's good. She has arms now.
Yes, she does.
Movable arms.
She is misusing them.
Yes. No, well, she's doing exactly what you'd expect her to do.
She can't.
Why is she the only one with arms? Does anybody else have arms?
Sora have them, so I'm assuming it's because they're updates to their models since they're some of the oldest ones.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Weird. Strange.
Apparently she tried flipping people off and got told don't do it.
Oh.
So I watched it and she was doing just had her index finger pointed up while saying fuck you.
Oh, that's weird. That's strange. She can say fuck you, but she can't flip the bird.
I think it's because Coco has exclusive rights on her model because she's added arms. She's done static arms to hers, which are her flipping the bird.
So she's got the exclusive rights to bird flipping.
I think they just want to try and limit it as much as possible to Coco, and it's just you ain't winning this fight.
No, Miko will break rules at some point, I'm sure.
You tried before. You tried to just limit it to this one person, and then no.
It spreads. Yeah. There's gonna be an episode of the memes, and then they're both gonna be flipping off at the same time.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. It's gonna happen. Just gotta wait. Well, hello, Mikey. We've got another week of Transformers this week. Have you been up to anything interesting this week?
I have Transformers-related content.
Oh my god, well, that'd be good for what we did this week, I suppose, won't it? Very good. But, Mr. Mikey, we may as well get straight on to the news. There's a few bits here and there, not a huge amount, but a little bit here and there.
Amount.
So we'll start off with the New Age toys. They're doing the H29 Raum. I was going to say Ramu, because you would have thought it'd be Ramu, but it's Raum.
Think of German. Think of it like you're saying it like it's German. Because
I'm not angry enough for that. It's not angry enough. And there's the H30, which is Vine. Like wine, but not.
Raum and Vine.
Yeah, and these are the New Age toys Hephaestus, which is the Combiner G1 Devastator. There also was a video up on Facebook. I don't know if it's circulating anywhere else, which showed the combined Devastator form and the articulation of it, but I couldn't find that for the podcast because
I never saw it.
You try and look for anything on Facebook, and it's
oh, do not talk to me.
Yeah, no, it's not even worth it. But I remember seeing it and being like, oh, it looked pretty solid. And speaking of looking pretty solid,
New Age Hephaestus stress test.
That might be it.
9-second clip.
Oh, no, it was longer than 9 seconds.
I should hit the play.
That's fine. Yeah, it was longer than 9 seconds.
Shaking Hephaestus like a baby.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
I mean, it does look good. I will say that. It looks like it's a decent sized combiner for, legend scale.
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, each of the figures apparently are 9.8 centimeters tall for those who are size queens. This is a set. They are both Scavenger and Bonecrusher. If I didn't mention that before, Scavenger and Bonecrusher.
Sorry, I just stumbled upon 6 different videos of this fecker which went up in the last 2 days.
Oh, well, there you go. It might be one of them, I suppose. Yeah, but this is a 2-pack. We have their accessories, which is a goon and trumpet. Because I guess they decided to give him the trumpet from the scene in the movie for some reason, which is quite cute. It's quite a cute little thing. We see them in the robot modes and the vehicle modes, the construction modes, and all that jazz. Mikey, what do you think of Bonecrusher and Scavenger? And do you trumpet? Do you blow into your tutor of justice?
Regularly. I'm either that MMD of the trumpet song harassing someone, or I am that weird static JPEG that went around a few years ago of that man chasing that poor woman with a trumpet.
Yeah, that was great.
Also, it is a Hephaestus articulation video. It's got good articulation. Also, those lights should be illegal. They will blind a child.
Yeah, I remember seeing them and thinking it looked kind of bright.
Those are like the ones that, like, do not look into them. They will ruin your retinas.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the trumpets, I'd care a lot less. I'm being completely honest here.
Okay, that's
I think these look fine, but Hook, our Scavenger, and Bonecrusher are not my favorite Constructicon designs.
Mm.
I find them some of the more boring ones. I am a scrapper, long haul kind of guy.
Okay.
But these look like competent. They look fairly well articulated. Clearly, the combiner is going to be very well articulated. But then they've got the trumpets in here, and I'm just like, yeah, great movie. But I have an image of a jazz band or like a swinging 60s vibe club moment.
I mean, the problem is they're using the same instrument, so you're not going to get much of a range of tune.
You've got those three guys in the back that are always in those like blues videos.
Mm-hmm.
There's always three people in the back.
Yeah.
Moving in unison with a trumpet. You get a microphone that fits one of these.
Okay.
Because since yesterday, I'm now looking at accessories for toys that don't come with accessories in case one does.
Oh.
In case I need to buy replacements for something, because I am a fucking lost cause. We'll probably talk about that at some point later on.
We will. Yeah.
So you get a microphone for Scrapper.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can probably get a scale piano somewhere, like a little cheap dollhouse one or something like that. And then Bob's your uncle. You got a band.
Well, I suppose depending how large these scale, because I can't remember how these scale versus like a Figma.
They're deluxe-ish size, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't visualize how big that is compared to a Figma.
Figmas are halfway between a deluxe and a Voyager.
So probably about a similar scale, right?
Yeah. But
so then you could just buy the upgrade kits for Figmas, because there's like loads of upgrade sets for Figmas and stuff.
Feckin' ton of them.
Of that scale,
official and unofficial, actually. But
yeah, exactly.
I just like the idea of the Constructicons as a jazz band or something like that.
Okay.
Or blues or whatever. I listen, I don't know music, I just know what I like, and I tend to like crap. But so apart from that, they look like very competent, very solid figures. Really good leg articulation. They've both got good waist articulation as well. I will say Bonecrusher's legs, maybe it's just the fact they're of the green, but it looks less like they like bend at the knee and stuff. It looks more like they just sort of curve around each other.
I see what you're saying.
But that's probably just the shots. But yeah, they've got shots. Yeah, they've got them shots of them next to deluxe figures here, and they're slightly taller. So they look like they're going to be about the same size as Red Megatron. If that's Red Megatron next to them. No, I think they look good. But honestly, I like. Give me the trumpet. I want my trumpet. I want my weird. Oh, you get these, and then you spend ridiculous amounts of money on the Knights of Unicron set from that one BotCon where everyone stopped caring about Shattered Glass.
That's right. Yes,
we do that, and then you have like a battle of the bands, a la Scott Pilgrim.
Oh wow,
that's a good movie, by the way.
It's okay. It's not too bad.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
I actually think it's one of the movies that I've liked more as I've watched it, which is rare.
Really? Wow. Okay. I thought it was fine. I saw it once and was like, I don't feel I need to see it again.
I'll watch it again.
No.
I'm telling you now, so I'm afraid you don't really have a choice.
Well, I do, because there's no way for me to watch it, so unless you're going to buy it for me and send it to me.
I was going to say, Andy, it's 2021. Really?
I'm not going out of my way to get Scott Pilgrim.
I'm just saying, like, oh, you can't watch this. It's just like, I don't know. Let's say certain battles against certain elements of the internet have failed miserably.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. But yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. So from my perspective, I think these look really good. I like them a lot. I think the proportions are really solid. They've captured the animated kind of cartoony look of both robot modes. They seem to be well articulated, like you said. They seem to close up into the robot modes quite nicely without having too much crap kind of hanging off of them as well, which is really nice. I'm looking forward to, like you said as well, the combined Devastator mode looks pretty solid as well. I kind of have always liked Scrapper's look. Bonecrusher, I think because he was just too green, would dip into he's a bit more of a boring look, but I look forward to seeing the other guys come out. They'll probably do, like the smart thing to do would to be separate Scrapper and Hook, because I'd say arguably they're the two most important members of the Constructicons.
Yeah, well, they definitely got the most face time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the wise thing to do would be to split them over Mixmaster and Long Haul. Because I don't think Long Haul and Mixmaster would be a good group for some reason. Maybe you do Scrapper and Mixmaster, because then you have the two legs. Because we've got the two arms here, so maybe you do those with the two legs, and then Hook and Long Haul can be the torso package. Maybe that's what they'll do. Who knows? But no, I'm quite impressed with them. I think they look quite fancy. I think, as we've said before, New Age is meant to be pretty decent. Do we know how much these are going to be? Because I can't remember.
I don't know off the top of my head, and I'm not super familiar with New Age's like general. Let's see if I can find out actually. How what kind of price do New Age's guys usually go for, and then like they'll be more because I bet they're bigger.
Isn't the New Age price usually not too terrible?
Like New Age Shockwave, that's a special version. Let's see if I can find a normal version.
We did see the Mixmaster ages ago.
Shazam Thunder. What the feck? I'll look at that in a second. Lots of the animation versions of them, like the second releases, were going at like $60.
Okay, so expensive, but
I'd say these guys. Okay, this is just this looks like a normal figure. Optimus Prime. Oh my god!
What?
I'm looking. I can't find a fucking thing. I'm just going. Show Z store. I am looking through your catalog, and Jesus.
Jesus, what?
Jesus. Okay, Jazz. Their Jazz sold for 43.
Okay.
They're so. Yeah, and like Acid Storm was 55, so I'd say between 40 and 50-ish is the standard, and these are going to be a bit bigger, so I'd say between 50 and 60.
And then you double it because it's a 2-pack.
Yeah.
So about 100 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. That's an idea. So if you want the total set, I guess it'd be about 300 for all the Constructicons then. All right, well there you go. Mikey, do you want to take us on to the next story? Unless you got anything else to say on these guys.
No, I'm good. Next up, we have some new news from, I don't know if these are, this is a new studio. I don't know if we've seen these guys before, but, Moon Studio, MS-05 and MS-06. These are toys soon to be cancelled, I'm sure. Masterpiece scaled Seizen and Suiken from G1 Raiden. Oh, when will ye learn?
Apparently, we've talked about, or we've seen their stuff before, because in 2020, Moon Studios showed Radiatron, which was a Raiden. Oh no, this was the Raiden Combiner.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we saw this in 2020, so we must have talked about it back in those days at the very least.
But yeah, you
must be new apart from that though.
Yeah, these are new shots of arm modes for both of these guys. They're robot modes and they're train modes, and it looks like the trains will come with a track, and the trains will link up unless that's a Lego track, which they're using, which is also possible.
That does look like a Lego track.
But again, poor timing.
Nah, it's fine.
Really? Sell that to Unicron.
It's fine. It's not cancelled just yet.
Give it.
So as long as no one waves this in Hasbro or Takara's face, maybe they'll be okay.
Or messages Hasbro Takara say hey, your trains look okay, but they're not as good as these fan-made ones.
Yeah, look at ours that we made. How about we send these to you?
We're not we're not referencing anything from another fandom, which is fucking stupid. But
or from our fandom,
which is also fucking stupid. Basically, shut up, fans. No one cares about your opinions, not even us.
Well, no, people do. It's just not a good idea to wave third party or pirated stuff in front of the creators' faces.
With a big flag, which they can't look away from, no matter how much they want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So body-wise, these two look fairly identical. There's new molded parts, but it looks like the transformation scheme, everything else, they're based around very much the same skeleton. Same with the design. The arms are engineering-wise identical.
Yeah. It's a smart move.
Yeah,
makes sense.
That makes sense. And I don't know if that's true with Raiden. I've never actually seen a Raiden in person.
I'm going to say probably. I'm going to assume it goes by the idea of the Scramble City
I
limbs
remember
to a
the
point.
Headmaster opening where he looked fairly symmetrical.
Yeah.
But they're not technically Scramble City either.
No, but the idea, that's why I
Yeah.
said the idea
Yeah.
of like having similar transformations for the limbs.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
probably have these two who are the same, the legs are going to be the same, but
And then there's
the
two-
arms and legs will be different at the very
presumably
least.
two guys for the torso.
I
Because there-
don't think so. I
No,
think
there's
he was
six.
wasn't he a
No, there's
five-time?
six
He was
because
six.
he's
Okay.
He was the original, like before Transformers. He was the equivalent of Devastator. He was Devastator's
Okay.
opposite. So, which is why I believe he takes that role in Headmasters, if I remember right. But yeah, so he's actually a very old toy that just never made it over. Yeah, and I think they look competent enough. The robot modes, like, there's some nice detailing differences. The heads are fairly standard, like not super distinct. Train modes, I think, look good. I mean, I really have an urge to put a Thomas the Tank Engine face on these, but they look good.
Wow.
No, I think that I think as an opening salvo, they're pretty solid. I will say the hands look excellent. The combiner hands, like those look fantastic. I love the fingers.
As long as you don't need to use the fingers to hold the guns in place, as long as there's a peg for the gun or something.
Please don't fall for that trap.
Yeah.
But no, I think these guys are looking to turn out really well. I just hope they get released. So yeah, what do you think, Andy?
I mean, the train bots for riding, I think generally suffer design aspect wise the same as Silverbolt and the Superion in general, the aerial bots. Like they look just a bit visually kind of dull. I think that they've recreated the look of them fine. It's just they've recreated the fairly standard, not very interesting design aspect to them. But they look competent, like you say.
They're going to be red and yellow looking at these pictures they're riding. Or green and yellow. Orange is the leg.
Orange is the leg, okay.
Actually, orange is the thigh, and blue is the leg.
Okay.
And then the right arm is yellow and the left arm is green.
Oh, that sounds about right. Yeah, but it's a really kind of sickly yellow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it's not just a nice vibrant yellow, it's a gross one. Yeah, I mean, these will look interesting when they come out, and hey, it's the only one that's coming out at the moment, as far as we know, right? Yeah. Is there anything else to say on the trains, Mikey?
No.
One thing I will say, I do like the fact that we saw that the trains can connect to each other.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're keeping that feature in.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get all the train bots and link them all together, just like they did in the show.
I would hope we got rails to make use of that feature.
I don't think
and
that's going
not
to happen.
have to provide Lego ones.
I think you're going to have the Lego ones, to be honest.
I don't want the Lego ones. It's Lego. I've fought years not engaging with Lego.
Well, too bad. And you're not going to buy this anyway. Get out of here.
True.
Shall we move on, Mikey?
Yes.
Mikey.
Yes.
Fanshobby show off their prototype of Optimus Prime, finally.
He is a chunky boy.
He is. For those not aware, Optimus Prime is, of course, Energon Optimus Prime for the amazingly well-scripted and received Transformers Energon, or Superlink, depending on where you come from in the world. This is the naval...
I'm just looking at my window looking for the pigs that are flying by.
Oh, well, you know. This is coming after the fact of Naval Commander, which was their Armada Optimus Prime, which had its super mode as well, and there's some pictures of them side by side as well. He has his trailer and his little rescue vehicle team. Do we see him on his own? No, it's just showing the combiner mode.
Only in vehicle mode.
Yeah. We don't see him on his own. Assuming he's not going to be fat. One can hope. Hopefully he's finally lost that weight, that podge. But yeah, what do you think of the combiner mode, Mikey? Because I'll say he's...
It looks like a problematic design that has had its proportions improved.
Sort of.
As much as can be while keeping that problematic design. Would be how I'd put that. I am very surprised we don't see the limb swap option.
Yeah.
Because
maybe that's for the best. Maybe that means that they can focus on making each of the limbs, in quotations, good.
I really hope it's in there, because I think some of those other combinations look better than standard.
Yeah, I would agree, but I don't think that's what their priority would be, unfortunately.
But I really hope it's in there, just for my own sanity when I see the pictures of this thing. But Because this is, without a doubt, the worst core concept design from Unicron Trilogy for the Optimuses.
You know, it only went well once they got Starsaber.
Yeah. When Starsaber comes in, he fixes a lot of the proportion. Or Wing. What was it?
Was it Wing?
It was
or
Wing.
Star?
It was Wing in the US, but was it Starsaber? I suppose it was Starsaber in Japan. But
I think it was Starsaber. Maybe I'm wrong.
But
send us a message. What was he called from the Japanese version?
I don't care. So,
okay.
And it's weird because I always wanted to like this design, but like really stupid.
Why?
Because I'm a sucker. But like
okay.
really annoying things, like how the face is formed.
Mm.
They make the classic.
Yeah, his little helmet hat.
They make the classic giant robot mistake that so many of the series over the years have made, which is, how are we going to make the head fit for the giant robot? We're going to put his own face in a bigger helmet, which gives him a teeny tiny face.
Yeah, in a really big hat.
So that never works, and that's why they do things like drop visors down and things like that.
Oddly enough, the did probably the smarter thing back with the Power Master Optimus Prime, which was just separate head, plonk it on, done.
Yep.
Which granted was too big.
Yep.
For that body, but you know
the prep that
you know.
That was it too big or were his arms too tiny?
Yeah, maybe it was his arms
because he had tiny arms.
I think I'm remembering Power Master Optimus Prime, but in big head mode. If it was a video game, like, so it's, in my mind, I'm thinking the head's even bigger than it actually is. Maybe, I don't know.
But no, it was a very big head. That is a very big head. Great shows that got cancelled. This is kind of for me like, wow, it looks good, ... for what it is. And I will be curious to see the market for this, as I don't know anyone, even McFeely, who's ever come out and said to me, I really like that toy or I like that design. I've never met any. I see people who love Armada's design, and I really like base Armada's Optimus, like the base Optimus design.
I like the super mode. I just don't think it worked as a toy. It works better here as a toy from what these guys have done.
Yeah, but I'd really like if they did a black repaint of that into, not Nemesis, into the Power Links version. Because
it was like grey and red and black or something.
I love that endgame color scheme on Prime.
Yeah. You know, that entire Armada story, that entire series could be, like, if you rewrote it and reanimated it, that could be a decent show.
Yeah.
Like, the basic premise is fairly interesting.
And, like, the ending is, like...
It's pretty good.
It's like, it's one of those endings that a lot of people conflate into being better than it is, but it's got some great ideas, great concepts. It plays on Starscream. I think it was one of the best concepts for a Starscream we'd had in a long time.
And randomly good bits of animation every now and again.
That last fight was really well animated.
It's really frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing about Armada as a show, which generally looks quite ugly. And then it's like randomly, budget. Yeah,
but not as frustrating as when Energon did it.
No, yes, it's much more frustrating.
What Energon did was some of the worst CGI animation I've seen, where the CG is front and center, and then whenever they needed, for anyone who hasn't seen it, whenever they needed to emote or do something dramatic or meaningful, they switched to this incredibly well done cell animation. That was
it wasn't jarring.
That was so good, it retroactively made the terrible CG look worse.
Yeah, if tell me if I'm going overboard here. I would say the actual, not the CG models themselves, but the actual animation for those CG models is worse than reboots.
Yeah, no, it's much worse. Like, those run cycles are fucking painful.
Yeah.
Like, because
they're almost goose stepping. That was the joke back in the day.
Reboot, you could see legs lift up and down. Beast Wars, you saw joints move.
Yep.
This Energon, all you saw was someone had dragged something along in the Z-axis and said, move that way.
Yeah,
and go,
not bend. Don't like bend the knee or anything.
Bending's for the weak. And that's before you get into the mind wipe obsession with that show.
Oh boy.
Who doesn't get mind wiped in that? I'm honestly curious. Because Megatron's mind wiped at the start.
Yep. So Starscream.
Yep. The Starscream shows up mind wipe and then gets mind wiped again.
He gets double mind wipe.
Like, they mind wipe him, to make him a blank like assassin guy, and then Megatron mind wipes him to make him super loyal Starscream.
Did they mind wipe Demolisher? And,
yes.
Cyclonus.
Yeah. Cyclonus. When Demolisher went through a lot of character development.
Oh, that's right. And
died,
then they mind wiped him.
And then they mind wiped and made him a gorilla. And then Cyclonus didn't really, but they still mind wiped him and made him a yodeler.
Yeah, I remember he yodeled, but I can remember why. I think that was just because I assumed that was just because they gave him skis for reasons because he was a snowcat.
I don't know if you'd count Tidal Wave as being mind wiped or just like
he just became shitter as a character for some reason.
He just became able to express the feelings he's kept deep down inside him for a long time. Which, fair enough.
Oh, Energon.
Fair enough, if you did. Like, technically, that would technically make Energon the... Actually, no, not technical. Not the first, since Zone did it first, but the most prominent example of Transformers media at the time to include an openly gay character.
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, Tidal Wave's a gay. Mirage was gay. Very gay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
In Japan, it was like absolutely no holds barred. Like, he is.
Oh, I imagine it was over the top, flamboyant.
He is the effeminate, stereotypical tough gay man trope that is very common in Japanese children's fiction. Because they do stick in gay characters in Japanese children's fiction, but they usually do it in a really camp way.
Yes,
and they
incredibly camp way.
They didn't edit most of that out when they brought it over because I
can't remember
because they didn't realize what it was saying. So when they like,
well, it would have been too expensive for them to do as well. So just like whatever.
Yeah. So him turning around, giving Megatron like the heart sign with his fingers, like that's all in there in Energon.
It's been a long time since I watched Energon. I watched it through once and then never again. Same for Armada. Same for Galaxy Force as well.
I've never seen Galaxy Force all the way through at once. I've seen like 10 episodes, and I've taken a break, and I've come back like months later, and I've seen 10 episodes. I have seen it all the way to the end, but I have never sat down. Like, I've always forgotten stuff watching it.
Oh my god.
So, Armada I watched when it was airing on Sky, and Energon I watched on Toonami because I was waiting for other cartoons to come on.
As you do. Sure.
And RID I watched because I unapologetically love that show. Yes.
Shall we talk about the Optimus Prime, though?
That's all.
Back on topic?
I'll be honest, that is all I have to say about the Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a competent version of a toy I don't like.
I think it does have some proportional issues with the chest because of how far the shoulders out are from the chest in the combined mode. They are very, very far out there. The hands look like, well, the singular hand, which we can see, looks like it's fairly well articulated, I suppose. It's going to be as tall as the super mode for the Armada Optimus Prime, the naval commander, I guess, which is good.
That's neat.
Yeah, looks like they might have rubber tracks on the drill as well, which is, again, kind of cute. They've slightly redesigned, at least the submarine, at the very least. And I think they've tweaked some of the other bits here and there. They've made it a lot more of a smoother design.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been stylized, else. Not a crazy amount, but they've super roboted it a bit, would be how I'd put it.
Yeah. I'd say they beveled a lot of the edges. They're not sharp, defined edges. They're more like curved and smooth, like someone took a rubber to them. But yeah, Optimus Prime, he be coming. If you're in the market for one, there is finally an option for you. I know you've been gagging for one. Singular person out there. Mikey, why don't you talk about boobs to me?
Why me?
Because this was your story, because you found it.
I retweeted it originally.
Well, technically,
because I was just like,
I showed it to you, but I mean today.
Yeah, it's feck off.
I can cover it if you like. I don't mind.
No.
I don't feel any shame.
I'm going to be the guy who runs the Twitter and gets told, like, I'm going to be the one who takes all volleys. So I might as well. So we mentioned last week.
You can send them my way, but I'll just shrug and go, yeah.
Yeah, you're no fun. I want to debate. I want to converse. I want to dive too deep.
Oh, see now the story's changing. Now you want to fight people.
I don't want to fight. I want to converse. But everyone wants to fight me. I don't want to wage war, but they give me no choice. Mm-hmm. Why do I have to kill again?
Okay, Al Pacino.
Oh, please! I'm cooler than Al Pacino. I'm waiting for it. I'd set you up for that one. Come on.
No, I'm good.
So anyway, we said last week that Alienattack had released prototype images of their kind of out of nowhere OPG optional girl, which is a sexy lady version of Optimus Prime. Not the first ever conceived of by fandom, or else very much not the last.
Nope. The first posable figure version of one, though, right?
Definitely. I'm still holding.
Yeah.
I've said this multiple times on Twitter this week. I still want someone to do a big, buff, manly, sexy Grimlock. Like, has to be a guy, though. I don't want, like, sexy lady Grimlock. I want sexy man Grimlock, like, who can do, like, the weird ab poses and stuff like that. And I will buy that tomorrow.
Yeah, but you and I both know that that's not going to happen.
But
because
it
there's
should.
Not a huge... there's not a huge market for
I
it.
am
not
the market.
compared to the sexy lady.
I am the market. You can do sexy lady version as well, but I want both. If you're going to make one, I have to have the guy one, because
Logistically, you know that it's not going to happen.
Well, you should. I'm just saying.
Business, money talks.
Money. So we now have the accessory break. It turns out there are now two versions of this. There are going to be M2 and M3, meaning movie 2 and movie 3 versions. Revenge of the
There's a
Fallen,
massive difference. I thought you were joking when you told me about this.
So this reflects their accessories. We now have color pictures of the figure. We have a full accessory lowdown, and we have a full gallery of both versions of the figure, including various poses. And yes, it can do the leaning over something, look at my butt pose. And that weird pose that I always see in Japanese figures of standing with your hips at a weird angle, kicking your feet in the air. I never got that.
I'm trying to think which one you mean.
Scroll. I'm looking at M2, so just scroll down. It's the one where she's got her finger, like she's doing the L sign as well with her fingers. And I'm just like, with legs like that, I am actually impressed she can hold that position. Also, like, I don't know if this the version they're using, but her eyes look a little off center. But yeah, so as I said to Andy and I said it on Twitter, this is both less naked than I was expecting, and yet not, as Andy put it. Because I was expecting the boobies, the breasticles, the whatever you want to call them. What's that one Iron Mouse says? The tittles.
Tiddolies.
Tiddolies.
Yep.
I expected them to be flesh colored because I know the people who make this kind of stuff. But no, they have painted it to look like armor in a way, or painted them red in a way that makes me feel this was originally planned to be flesh color and someone chickened out at some point.
There's something quite a little bit off about it.
Yeah, also the paint job on it, like it's not a clean paint job. You can see in some shots.
I mean, I'm guessing it's a prototype, right?
Oh yeah,
probably.
yeah. But usually, like, it's not so easy to see on prototypes or Alienattack toys. Like, that has a feeling of just wanting someone like paint them. But yeah, like, it is very posable. Like, toe joints, really good ankle joints. Like, in terms of, like, the action one, like, with the faceplate and everything else, or the face mask in this case, I actually think it looks fairly solid, and it's a good color scheme. We see, one thing I'm finding very distracting is, without the faceplate, she looks like Vivi.
This is the thing you find it distracting, Mikey?
That's the thing I found distracting the first time I started looking at this, alright? Because, like, and I'm just like, what if Vivi went nuts and decided she was going to shoot people and became Murder Prime? And
she's decided to embrace the robot of overtaking of humanity.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait, that could be something that's actually played up at some point, so be careful.
Yeah.
But so I am skimming around this. So M2 will come with, I'm going to look at her exclusive accessories. She will come with 2 arm blasters that can be plugged into her hand sockets. She will come with 2 swords that go into her wrists, or above her wrists rather, and she will come with 2 hooks that she will use to deface people.
Do you think they're going to do like a lady blackout?
Oh man,
Yeah,
I hope not, because like once they did an active face of that, oh my god. God.
Yeah, the accessory is the face splits in half.
Fucking Parasite. The M3 version comes with the shield. So these are Dark of the Moon accessories. So the shield and the hand sword from Dark of the Moon. And she also comes with she comes with 2 swords and that big honking axe he embedded in Megatron's skull.
You know, when he was begging for his... no, when he was asking for peace.
Yes.
That's right.
And again, like, I actually think, like, all accessoried up, it doesn't look like a bad action figure at all, to be honest. standard sort of Figma style accessories will include like changeable hair and new faces. The hair is there basically to remove the Optimus head pieces. 5 different faces, 10 different hands, 10 different sets of hands, which basically open hands, closed hands, pointing hands, holding hands, and relaxed hands with and without wrist guards.
Yeah, little metal bits on the back of the hands, whatever you want to call them.
And now we move.
What about the other faces, Mikey? What are the expressions?
They are looking to the side, looking forward, sneering, shouting
Pog face,
shouting pog face, eyeless face, and eyeless pog face, which I am assuming like customize your own eyes, or maybe she'll come with stickers. Now they decided to really. Here we go. Really buy into the fact this is a lady wearing armor, and decided, what if she took that armor off and had a beach day? Maybe she's feeling like her tan's not enough. So
it's the beach episode, or it's the onsen episode.
Yes,
it happens.
Exactly. I think one set of accessories here is more for onsen than the other.
True. Yes, traditionally. Yes.
So she comes with a replaceable sort of like lower back and new arms and legs, which you can just slot into the joints there to make her look more human. And she also comes with a itty bitty blue and red bikini. And
string bikinis, I think you can call them.
Like very much riding up in the crotch kind of underwear.
Yeah.
And she looks like they've also like. This one has like smiling face and stuff, but that's clearly not one of the faces provided, so I'm assuming that's highlighting. Hey,
did he mention the human legs as well?
Yes,
so you
legs,
can get rid
human
of the
legs,
ones?
human arms.
Yeah,
and then they decided, you know what, we need to go whole hog. So this, like you said, you can't really wear a bikini while wearing big red armored boobs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can give her normal boobs.
Yes,
which you then
and a butt.
And a normal butt, and presumably a normal front that you put over the bikini stuff over, and according to their advertisements, can completely remove. So she is Starkers. And based on the fact that the promotional images, which are up on Showzy's store, which has this toy in pre-order if you really want it, are pixelated, these are presumably a very well detailed set of breasts and butt.
But I would say, in fairness, we don't know that for sure. They might be pixelated just because they are boobs and butt, even if they are smooth. They might just be pixelated for that sense. We don't know if they've been
This is
nipped
possible.
up.
I'm not entirely sure I buy it, but
no, I mean, I think it's worth throwing out there because if it comes out and people buy and they're like, Moonbase 2 promised us fucking nips, you know. I don't want people to be like, Andy and Mikey lied to us. I want to say that at least we said we don't know for sure if there are nips.
I spent $60 for nipples and vagina, and I did not get either. Like, God, I bought all those Reveltech Queensblade figures, and I wanted something to go with them. God.
Remember when you buy yours at ShopZ to put in Moonbase 2 for your 20% discount code?
Yes,
is that what people say?
Go put Moonbase 2 as your gift code with Showzy store. I don't think it'll do anything because we're not sponsored, but fuck it.
Fuck, I really want us to be sponsored for this, only this specific figure,
you know
and
what?
only for like
I'm
1%
always the one
off.
who reaches out to professionals. Your turn. Contact Showzy store this week and ask him, can we get a sponsorship for this toy, mostly for a gag? But we want to be able to say we have a sponsorship
0.0.1% off.
Like, we're not going to buy it.
No.
We might want a deluxe figure if you got it, but we just want to be able to say this specific toy, you get a 10% discount if you buy with Moonbase 2.
It'd be really fun as well to say like put in Moonbase 2 for a discount.
Yeah, no,
especially on a girly figure that may or may not have nips on.
Yeah. Like we lost all respect when we weren't shocked and we liked Nicey, which is still like I was playing with that during the week actually or a few weeks ago when I was moving back home after a while away. So I brought her with me because I was like, she'll go on the shelf and shoot things, and then she came back and we're just like, this is a really good toy. But you know what, like, all right, here's the thing. If we get one email about this, that's all it'll take, one email, I will contact Showzy store, explain the exact situation, and say, is there any chance of even a joke sponsorship? So if we get one person doing this, I will very honestly explain this to them. And if they say yes, that will be the first time in 13 years Moonbase 2 has any kind of backing in that regard.
Yay!
So that's how we get it. So there you go. So
one day,
which means
live the dream.
So yeah, so if I get one email at moonbase2@gmail.com, at least one, I will do that, and I will tell you how it goes.
There you go.
There we go. I am no coward. Andy.
Yes.
What's your opinion of Optional Girl? Is she actually mandatory?
I mean,
that's the Megatron. That's the Megatron.
The most disappointing thing is apparently she's not mandatory for Jobby to get. Again,
Jobby
failing the side down
because she doesn't transform. Because he's a fucking
I guess,
coward.
yeah. Like if this was a Godzilla girl, he'd buy that shit. It's not a Godzilla girl, so he doesn't buy it.
How is that not a thing? How is that not a thing yet?
I don't know.
Because the designs are fucking out there. I can't escape them once you follow like Kaiju on Twitter.
I mean, some of the designs are from Jobby, so
yeah, and some of them are pretty good, to be completely honest. Like there's been a few of Legendary. I was just like, damn, I'd watch that anime.
Wow, that's a very different anime. That's another season of Monster Musume, I'm assuming.
I'd also watch that anime.
But no, the Optional Girl seems to be relatively well done. I'm not entirely sure what the decision making was to just kind of strip her of the Optimus Prime stuff and just make her a bikini girl thing. That's a weird choice.
Nicey was being too tame, and they were just like, we can beat that.
I guess, yeah.
Do you know? I will say they are still beaten out by the Fan Toys at RC.
Well, that one did actually have nips. That was we know that as a fact.
That had a pack of interchangeable breasts that were designed to
silicone
be squishable.
Too.
Silicone,
yeah.
That if you wanted her to have big, medium, or small, or low hanging, or perky, or whatever, that was an optional thing that they advertised. While every bit of their advertising was her undergoing some form of sexual experience.
That's right. What a time. What a time. Yep. But this seems to be a fairly decent figure. It's looking good painted. I think we said last time we talked about it, it would look pretty nice painted. And it does.
Yeah, no. Like, seriously, like, all jokes aside, like, if you're into buying, like, I know, like, robot armor girls are really big in the model kit scene at the moment. If you get those, this is really right up your alley.
Yeah, I wonder how this will scale next to a Frame Girl's arms, because I don't know how tall they are. This is 22 centimeters, by the way, if we didn't mention it. So, again, offhand, I'm not sure how big that scales to the Frame Arm Girls or other things those offhand.
But, like, the only one of those I've been tempted to get is that, like, she was up on HLJ, and it was just, like...
Is it the one with the
dragon? Yeah. She's just, like, made out of a Hydra. Yeah, I was just like, wow, that armored up form is nuts. But listen, I have enough shame coming my way in the next year to do with buying off HLJ, but we'll talk about that later. I haven't bought anything, I haven't ordered anything, but I probably will be.
I wonder how well the actual figure will be able to pose as well, like how poseable it will be.
Yeah.
Sorry, not so much how poseable it will be, but how strong the joints will be. How it will hold those poses. One thing I think is interesting about the human legs specifically remind me of how they've made the model kits for the Gundam girls recently. It looks really similar to the... Who's the robot chick from Bill Divers Re-Rise? You remember her Gundam form, which was a robot?
Yeah, her, what was it called? It's May.
Can't remember.
It's May.
Yeah, it came out of the Wadoom or whatever.
No, it was just like May, Robo Doll May or something like that.
Sure. Either way, it has the exact same kind of leg design as that. I don't know about the feet, but the way that the knees look and the ways that the thighs look and all that kind of jazz. It's interesting. It's interesting. I guess that's the thing you can say about this. It's interesting.
It is,
and it will certainly cause discussion.
It is a conversation
positive or negative.
Starter.
I don't know.
It is a conversation.
Yeah,
starter.
Definitely. For better or for
I would
worse,
like you to introduce this at the start of a conversation, which will later have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Just like, throw it in there.
Have you seen Optional Girl from Alienattack? Yeah, and I must say, I was just also wondering, what's your favorite coffee?
Yeah, wait.
That's how you go.
That's how you really switch lanes very quickly. I can't say I'm too fussed between M3 and M2.
Well,
it's just which kind of accessories do you prefer? Feels like you could have just done put all the accessories together. It doesn't feel like you need a separate release for the accessories.
I mean, I'd probably go 3 just because I like big honking axes.
Yeah, I do like the hooks though, because they really resonate with a horrifying image.
I like the idea that this is actually what happened to Murder Prime. Like post like the last night, he went like, I must become a pretender to move among them and kill their kind.
Yes,
and like this was
people
his
would just
disguise.
assume she's a cosplayer.
Yeah. He became a cosplayer, but like not the fun kind, not the friendly kind, not the ones you meet at cons who are just like, oh, it's nice to meet a fan. More of these, have you done anything wrong today? Oh, yes, I have. Come into the bag.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. No one ever comes out of the bag.
They do leave satisfied, though.
They don't leave, Andy. Prime leaves satisfied.
That's true.
They become decoration.
Yay! Shall we move on? Actually, how much was it? Because I clicked off the links.
The pre-orders, they've only got pre-orders. It looks like the price hasn't been decided. And like Shozy Store, they do pre-orders. It's like, here's an arbitrary small amount of money. Ergo, you can use that.
Do you think any of the TF podcasts are going to talk about this figure?
I don't know, honestly. Because, like, Windblade got some attention. Like, Transmissions talked about Windblade, and they...
Oh, that's good.
That was about it. But, like, Windblade... Like, shall we say... Okay, if Nicey caused them problems, I think this might kill people.
Mikey, do you want to move on to the next bit of news, sir?
Yes, because I might as well take this one as well. Because it's nice and quick. We got a picture of Shockwave's butt, so that's actually quite on topic. YOLO, who a little while ago announced their sort of $60-ish model kit for Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, have now revealed a grey prototype teaser image of Bumblebee movie Shockwave, which is being done as a Plasmo model kit. Now, I don't Plasmo. I don't really remember what he looked like off the top, apart from the fact he looked
Shockwave.
G1-y. So
yeah,
let's hit a few image searches.
G1-y movie-ish. You'll probably look at him and think he's kind of generic-y.
Yeah, he looks kind of like a broader Shockwave, but his head is a bit squished.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, yeah, cool. Like I said, we see his ass.
Yeah, it's weird that this is the promo image.
Yeah, maybe that comes off and can be replaced.
Do you think it's a bit insulting that, you know, they've done I think they've done Optimus Prime. They've definitely done Bumblebee.
No, they
haven't.
They haven't done Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
No.
They haven't done Bumblebee?
No, Trumpeteer are doing the very simple, already painted stuff. YOLO, and they've got...
right, I'm getting them mixed up and mushing them all together.
They've released images of Bumblebee, and they've got Blitzwing on the way.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Whereas YOLO Park are the guys who did that insane one-off figure. Remember that?
The Optimus Prime one.
And then and now they've announced the model kits, and they've done Optimus and now Shockwave, so... Still no Shatter Dropkick. No.
Yeah.
I was holding the Shatter Studio Series figure in my hand this week, and I was just staring at it and just like...
Which one?
The good one. The plain one.
I don't know which one that is. The plain one. Okay.
The one that looks like Shatter. But I was looking at it just like, God, why aren't you on sale? Because I'm not paying full price for that, because Studio Series is ridiculously priced for what it is.
Well, that one's not meant to be... Even then, it's not meant to be that good of a figure for the most part, is it?
It looks like her, and it can transform and doesn't explode in your hand, from what I've seen.
So that's all you need.
Listen,
Mikey's like, I approve.
This is my pineapple and pizza moment. But yeah, so Andy, any thoughts on Shockwave's tight buns? I'm not letting this go. Not really.
Like you, I think it's strange that Shatter and Dropkick, you know, the main antagonists of... I mean, I'm not that surprised. I mean, it's lean on G1 and never do the actual characters from the movie, which is always disappointing. It'd be nice to... Again, like, I'm not going to buy a Shatter or a Dropkick, but if you're going to do the movie characters, I would like to at least see them available for people to buy. Because I know a lot of people like them, so... No, we'll just do Shockwave and Megatron and Starscream and we'll do Cliffjumper before we do those two.
Oh god, probably do like the two halves of Cliffjumper that you stick together from two different kits.
It's an action feature. He's played.
They do Megatron and he wasn't even in the film.
No, I know, it's mad. It's crazy. Shall I take us on, Mikey?
Yes.
Mikey, Cyberverse, the TV movies have been set to air on a channel. Well, not a channel, but a service. Ooh. That's right, they're going to be going over to Netflix. And it sounds like the Netflix is going to be pooping it out on the 21st of November this year. So you can tell me how that is. It's season 4, if you're not aware. And will be the movie that me and Mikey have talked about a few times beforehand. So, are you excited, Mikey? As you were the big cyberverser
Yeah,
out
I
of the two
definitely
of
want to
us?
watch it. I'm kind of disappointed that far out.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be, because it feels like we've been talking about it for a while now.
Yeah, that kind of feels like post-Kingdom filler season.
Or maybe they couldn't find somewhere to put it.
Well, like, Hasbro's pulling a lot of their stuff off of other platforms now. Like, Power Rangers is leaving Nickelodeon for Netflix soon.
Oh, okay. Do you think they've got a deal going with Netflix or something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, as long as it's animated by, was it Boulder who did? Yeah, I think it was Boulder who did Cyberverse, and it's not done by Polygon.
Oh,
for the love of all that's holy. I can't take it anymore.
Well, I would just say as long as Hasbro doesn't decide maybe we should start up our own online service again, because it's like, hey, do you remember the hub and how that died?
Yeah.
And how everybody's doing a subscription service these days?
Yeah.
I'm more happy to hear that they're going to Netflix and bumming in with them. I think that's a better idea.
Nice, simple, whatever.
It's the one that most people have as well, as far as I know. Shall I take us on to the next bit of news, Mr. Mikey?
Yes. You might as well do the last two, because they're fairly...
Yeah, they're fairly quickies. All right, so we've also got The Transformers, the movie. The. I don't know why it's The Transformers, the movie, where it says on the box Transformers, but neither here nor there. It's
the D is very
35th...
tiny.
What's that?
The D is very tiny next to it.
Oh, no, it is. You're right. You're quite right. This is the limited edition Steelbox. There's a new version for the 35th anniversary. There are new features, the new bonus features. There's an exclusive litho as well from Shout Factory. It's coming from Shout Factory, if you didn't know. The bonus features are a 4K transfer of the original film elements, new feature-length storyboards, including deleted and alternative and extended scenes. I wonder how many of those we've seen at TF Nation and other conventions in the past.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's stuff like originally Stripes was going to be in it or something like that.
Perhaps. And new Fathom event, 30th anniversary. I have no idea what that is. Featuring the Stan Bush acoustic performance of Touch and Dare, because of course it does. I'm not sure, that doesn't sound desperately
Fathom
thrilling
Events
to
is
me.
the home cinematic experience provider that broadcasts entertainment events in movie theaters throughout the US. So there was probably a live concert.
Okay, so this is a Till All One comprehensive documentary looking back at Transformers, the movie, with members of the cast, including storyboard consultant Flint Dilley, cast members Greg Bouguer, Susan Boo, Neil Russo, Dan Galvazan, singer-songwriter Stan Bushell, and the composer Vinny Delacola and others as well. All of those with the exact readings of the names, I promise.
Yes, obviously.
Audio commentary with Nelson Shin and story consultants Flint Dilley and star Susan Blue. Archive featurettes include Death of Optimus Prime, the casting characters, and Transformers a Q&A. Things that Mikey would, of course, get wrong because he doesn't know anything about Transformers. Animated storyboards and original theater. I'm not, because Mikey knows way too much.
I only lose because others hold me back.
Yeah, I know. This is the that's not like Mikey's ego talking either. That's a fact.
I love you
I've
all.
seen it happen. There's the original theater trailers, which are never very good, and the TV spots as well. So that's what comes on the Blu-ray. If you're in the market for yet another version of the movie, you can get it on the 23rd of August of this year. It's going to be $28.43. I don't know why it's 43 cents, but that's what it says on the site here. So there you go. Any thoughts on it, Mikey?
I'm glad there's new stuff on this. I am glad it's not just because they've already done at least one Steelbox. Shout Factory has. The most interesting thing would be the storyboards and the deleted content and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how much of it is stuff that is actually new and how much is stuff that we've seen?
But like having seen it at a convention doesn't necessarily mean you'd have seen it yourself. You know, there's plenty of people,
and it might be new stuff. Yeah.
And there's plenty of people. Just like there's plenty of people who never make it onto those kind of things, who aren't like big into like trawling through YouTube for this kind of material. So I'm okay with that. A 4K transfer, I should be pretty cool with that. But then I remember when they did the 4K transfer of Godzilla and they made it darker somehow, which is an achievement. Then because they were already working off a terrible transfer that darkened the film from what it was in the cinema. So I want to see it first. The Fathom event thing I'm not particularly interested in. The rest of it is all kind of like old stuff that you find in most versions, and I'm a little disappointed by that because I would like, if you were going to do a 35th anniversary, that you like, I would love if they found Ron Friedman and got him, if he's still alive, got him to do some comments. Like, he was the writer, and what little I've heard from him, he's not, he should still be about. From what little I know of him, his some of the stuff, like where RC came from, his opinion of the Optimus Prime thing, that would have been really, really interesting to hear. Because for anyone who doesn't know, like, Ron Friedman created RC. He is directly responsible for creating her, because he had a daughter who was into the show, and she felt like there's no one here who speaks to me because there's no girl characters, and Hasbro was at the time really, really resistant to it, and he had to make a really impassioned plea, and that's actually where the female Autobots came from as well, because they didn't want to just drop this entirely new concept into the movie, which is weirdly forward thinking for 1980s Hasbro. But like, he also was like really passionate about not killing Optimus, and lots of other really, really cool stuff I'd love to see included. Just because I think it's really interesting to hear the history of all this. Like, you know, I a lot of these are people we hear over and over again, so it would be kind of nice. Yeah, like I said, like, I would like more new stuff. Like, the rest of it is just kind of stuff we've already seen.
Yeah.
And
stuff that's been on other editions, which you've and assuming you've probably had it already. You know, this
35 years, like, in terms of mech,
is 35 like important?
Well, I think look at it this way: in terms of mech stuff, I think in terms of mech stuff with continuous long-term product and media, we're basically only beaten by Gundam. There are older mech stuff that keep on, like, have long periods of time where they come back and forth.
My point is 30, like, I get 30 was important, but is 35 that important?
It's
like, are they just going to do it for 40, and then they're going to do it for 45, and then 50? I think you should probably do 30 and then leave it to 50.
No, they're not. They're going to do the Kamen Rider thing of every 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's
marketing. Shouldn't.
But like, I would say, like, if you're going to do that, make sure that whatever, like, every version has something, like, significantly new, like, stuff like the storyboards. Like,
that's not going to happen.
Because, like, I'm not, like, it's hard for me to convince myself I need another copy of Transformers the movie. But then again, like, there are plenty of people who don't own it. There are plenty of people who would love to have extra copies, or, like, who want to have, like, full collections of every version of the film. So, more power to you. I'll probably try to find the extras online, I'll be honest, but I do think it is good, like, again, like, another easily accessible copy of the film in physical. I love physical stuff.
Same.
So that's my view on it.
Alright, cool. I'm not really that fussed, to be honest. I've got enough. I don't think you could convince me to get another copy, because I feel I have too many already.
What did they reveal? Like, there was a whole other version of the film where, like, Optimus ate Rodimus.
No, like, if you redubbed it or recast it so it's all like the HoloLive girls, then it would be really good.
Oh, well, the Ghost Hunter anime.
The Ghost Hunter anime.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? The Ghost Hunting
Ghost
anime.
Stories.
Ghost Stories.
No,
yes.
It's Ghost Stories.
Yes. We get them back, and we give them the same instruction they had then.
The problem is they'd be able to figure out what it was.
True, but get drunk, do what you want. I would. Oh my god. Like,
I'm not sure that would work.
I would love it.
That's fair. The last bit of news for this week is that TFCon Los Angeles is set for March 11th to the 13th, 2022. So if you are gagging for a Transformer event, maybe 2022 is the time to go to the first one in like 3 years or something, however long it's been. Like, it might be okay by then to actually do that kind of stuff. I don't know. Who can say? One can only hope. Doesn't bother me because I can't go anywhere. But yeah, if you're in the LA area, maybe TFCon's gonna be the place for you. Remember, Burbank, Los Angeles. I'm guessing Mikey's not gonna be going.
It's not likely, but I really hope we're at a stage where we can go.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Every time we think we're in a stage we can do something comes around and says like, "Hey, buddy, I'm about to make it slightly more worse for you."
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, everyone in the UK who's on like local lockdown. I'm so sorry. I can't even make a joke about it. But no, I think it like hopefully like the con circuit will start getting back to working order. Also, we missed this completely. TF Nation rather had their spotlight this weekend. That spotlight meeting with oh god, I can never pronounce her name. The lady who voiced Miko. That was on this weekend, so I'm assuming there's going to be a Twitch or something of that somewhere to watch. At some point,
I wouldn't have thought so because he'd have to pay for that, right?
Oh yeah, that had tickets. I forgot that.
Yeah, you had to pay money for that. So yeah, it won't be up on Twitch.
I know. Cool.
All right, cool. Right. Well then, Mr. Mikey, what have you been up to this week? What you done for fun, son?
Oh God. Oh, let's see. I started and finished Subnautica Below Zero.
Wow, how long did that take you?
15 hours.
That's not long. You burned through that fast.
Yeah, it's much shorter than the first game.
Wow.
It's like okay, so all the things that are good about the first game are all there, all of them. Very atmospheric. I had plenty of jump scares. There is something absolutely terrifying about knowing that just outside your visual range is something that is not only big enough to kill you in a second, but unlike a lot of games, is not stuck on a fixed loop. So it can come at you from literally any angle. And it's 3 dimensions in space as well. So there is no safe direction. And my God, I had so many moments of, oh God, why did you rise up right in front of me? There's the building is still the same, but there's more stuff to build, and you can make more attractive bases this time around, which I think is a good move. It's more story focused. It's got a tighter narrative than the last one, so that is contributing to its shorter length. Basic story is you are Robin, who's going down to a planet to see about her sister Sam and her death. Meanwhile, you end up.
I thought you meant like Batman.
No, and then you meet an alien named Alan or Al-An, who you have to help. So yeah, also like some good rapid progression stuff. Like a lot of it's much easier to get high end materials in this one, or high end blueprints.
Oh, that's good.
So you like first hour you'll have most of like the stuff that you were getting towards the end or mid game of the last one. Because they're like, okay, this was originally intended to be an extension DLC kind of thing.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was meant to be its own standalone title.
So like the idea was like you just finished Subnautica. Okay, you don't want to play around the whole thing again. So here's all the stuff you already got.
Isn't it being sold as a full separate game, though?
It is, because like about a year into development, they changed that.
Okay.
But they didn't really expand on it. So lots of like gorgeous visuals, gorgeous music. The music for Subnautica is some of my favorite game music. Like this sort of synth nonsense I'm enjoying. So yeah, lots of stuff. The story isn't like the most in-depth, and Robin is not the most in-depth character to play as, but I really appreciate like an open world game that like it said like, okay, we're open world, kind of like Outer Wild. Is that what it was called? The space one that was really like all the talk a few years ago.
Is that where Watson was jumping into the sun?
No.
Or is that a different one?
It's the one that everyone thought was going to be like the new Borderlands.
No, the new Fallout.
Yeah, but it turned out to be a really, really tight story-driven one that was much, much shorter and single-player.
No, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Because I ended up really liking that because it was much tighter than I was expecting it to be. And quite quirky. But this game has plenty of flaws. The story, like, you have 2 plot lines, neither of which really need Robin. You have Sam's plotline and Alan's plotline, and Robin is very much like that kid, like Van from Final Fantasy 12. It's no. I really shouldn't be here. Just like, because it's other people's stories. And like, something really annoying is that Sam's story, the entire reason you come to this planet, is completely skippable. So if you do not want to spend time figuring out what happened to Sam, you don't have to spend a single iota of time in it.
Okay.
Which I think is a massive flaw when that's the entire reason you're on the planet. It's a lot less glitchy than the first game, which I will really praise it for. But because it's much more rapidly paced, you much quicker hit that point where you're basically invincible. Where like the jump scares are because of the environment, they're not because any sense of real threat.
Right.
Like I was getting jump scared while trying to get a screenshot of a monster because I wasn't scared of it doing damage, so I was getting stupidly close to it. The plot progression is much tighter, but it's still flawed. I found the mission structure wasn't fantastic either, like especially Sam's. Also, something like they've got a map in the game now, like, but it's like an actual like physical map you look at on a wall. But they frequently have moments like where key things are like, oh, you have to go here to pick up this item, to scan it, whatever. But they don't tell you. You just happen as you're passing by an area. Alan will sort of go like, I've got a funny feeling, and they don't give you a marker like Subnautica give you markers for everything. If you needed to dive down deep for a story reason, there would be like, oh, you're getting an alien signal, follow the signal.
Yeah.
You're not getting that here. You're getting an opinion saying like, I've got a sense of something that's going on. Oh, but I can't tell you where because interference.
Is that just to stretch out the length of the game, basically?
I think so.
Okay.
Which is a shame, in my opinion. So I would say I like Subnautica more. This is a tighter experience, but I would never say start with Sub-Zero. I would say, like, if you want to play the games, play Subnautica. It's a much bigger experience, and it's a very different experience in many ways, but I think it is, like, for world building, it's much better. Because Sub-Zero also has the slight problem of, like, since it was originally intended for DLC for a game you'd already played, it doesn't actually spend a lot of time on world building. So if you're diving into this game for the first time, you're missing out on a lot of like narrative, like the Karad, the virus. It means much less to you playing this game than if you have any idea what was going on in the first game, and which is a big thing considering like the virus was like the driving force of last game. So I like it. I could see myself coming back to Subnautica someday in a few years. I do not think I'll come back to Sub-Zero. And I would like this team to make another game. I think they're really good at these type of games. I would like them to make a new setting. Because if they make another Subnautica game, it's going to take the sheen off this.
Right. You think two's enough? Or
two's enough.
1.5.
1.5 is enough. 1.5 is enough.
Yeah.
TV-wise, I still haven't caught up in VV. I meant to do it today, but I got distracted by family stuff. So I am behind in VV still, but I caught up in everything else. Thunderbolt Fantasy has hit a stage where I'm kind of like, okay, this isn't the most interesting plot at the moment. Come on, guys.
So it's a Thunderbolt Fantasy story then.
It's slowly turning backwards for season 2 quality.
Oh, fantastic.
Like, oh, okay, come on. I get it. Demon Lady. Cool. Come on.
Just let them fight. Let them fight.
And also a moment where it's like, oh no, we're supposed to think something bad is happening. I'm just like, he is so fine. There's no tension here. 86 was interesting this week because it was mostly about the female protagonist, the Major, confronting the people in her life and being forced to realize the people in her life either do not give a shit or convince themselves there's no shits to give. Which I found was interesting. I kind of wish she stood up to them a bit more, but I know the point was like to shake her, like, because these are people she relied on, and she's confronting them with what she sees as the horrible truth, and they're just like, it's truth, deal with it. It's the world we're living in, and like her father figure is very comfortable, really, in many ways.
I couldn't tell that from the first time I saw him. I wouldn't be shocked if he was the one that got her dad killed, to be honest.
No, me neither.
Because that would be the trope, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it had an interesting stuff. Like, it basically, we got to see, like, how big the squad was originally versus how big it is now. I thought that was a really interesting visual, because what I didn't realize is that as we've had, like, major deaths, but each episode we've lost someone from the Spearhead Squadron without it being highlighted. Like, every episode, that cast has shrunk a bit, and they never drew attention to it until this moment where you see, like, here's everyone now, and here's a relative shot of, like, who was here when this all started.
Yeah.
I really like that. I'm curious, like, we've got 4 more episodes to go, so I'm really curious to where it's going. I'm enjoying it now. It's settled into a nice pace. So I'm enjoying that fun. God, what else was there? So, Demon Lord. It was full like nonsense, etchy nonsense.
Has it picked up? Because the last few times you talked about it, you were like,
I think like the last 2 episodes, I think were just like the funny shit you're here for. The episodes before that, there was some weird writing where everyone was just like, "Why is he so mean?" And I'm just like, he's literally always like this.
Yeah.
Why are you reacting to this? They were trying a bit too shonen protagonisty. Where the show isn't really structured like that, you know. It's not really.
Oh God, no.
It's about a nerd who is in a situation he wasn't expecting. But
boob jokes.
Boob jokes. The deadliest jokes. Back Arrow, another strong episode of that. 1 weak point is someone died, and the whole thing is structured like, no, he's dead. And I'm just like, up until last episode, he was your secondary villain. Why are we crying about this? I'm kind of glad the bitch is dead.
Is this a personality thing? The princess?
Yeah. No.
It
wasn't her who died.
Okay.
But someone that was a different one, which feels like an episode was missing. Where
I'll say that each time I watch Back Arrow, I don't know what the stakes are meant to be because I don't know what the limitations on anything are.
Yeah. It's kind of like
there's no defined thing. The conviction, as I said before, the conviction premise is really terribly told.
Yeah,
because it makes no sense.
The way I look at it is like it's Gurren Lagann as I see Gurren Lagann. Except it's how the whole show, because I see Gurren Lagann as some good ideas but not amazing. Whereas everyone else sees it as amazing, and I think Back Arrow is kind of just like that encapsulated. Like a lot of good ideas.
It's got better action than Back Arrow, though. You can see why people would get captivated by the spectacle.
Absolutely.
There is no spectacle to Back Arrow, as far as I can tell.
I still like it. I think the last 3 episodes have been the strongest. 3 or 4 episodes have been the strongest in the show.
I'm at this point. I'm just watching it for something to watch. I'm really not that invested in it at all.
No, I used to try and predict it. Like it's come to a point. Like I don't think it will pull a Darling in the Franxx where I'm like, oh no, shit you. But because I'm not that invested in it. But I do enjoy it. Like it's nice. It's like easy mech watching. And to be fair, we've been in an era where the idea of mech watching in general has not been great. So I will take the passable mech show over no mech show at the moment. Hang on a second. Come on, you. Come on. Leave me alone. I cannot put you in my lap. Go over here. Good girl. I'll play with you later.
I'm just leaving this in the show.
That was me with my mother. But yeah. Watched the Slime Show. Still fun. Still dopey fun. And yeah, Dinosaur, which kind of turned out to be kind of like a sequel to the last one, which was like a weirdly 2-part thing where they introduced.
Yeah, I've seen spoiler images because everybody's basically put up images.
From
that
you
episode,
can't escape. I was
I
was trying to avoid spoilers, and I was just like, you can't avoid spoilers in this. No. But
it's not even been like 2 days, and it's like all the images, like the cum shots of the episode are up on Twitter. It's like,
there are some very good shots in this one, I will say.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, that's Trigger.
Yeah, Trigger don't give a shit. But yeah, so new character introduced who is sticking around. Without trying to spoil it for people, what I predicted would happen with one character did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So she is now. I also like. So in terms of trauma, they kind of resolve a lot, or at least face a lot of people's trauma in this episode.
Okay, so they actually kind of bring the themes together a little bit more cohesively.
To the point where I'm very now aware that Yomogi is the only one who has not had any real focus on his trauma. And I feel like that's going to be important for the important for the last episodes. Grid Knight is great in this because Grid Knight is always great. There's some really great visual Gridman. This show has like a ton of visual callbacks to Gridman, but there's some really nice ones here. And one really stupid one is the second laughs, and it's the same kind of laugh she did in Gridman. With like you'd know it if you saw it, basically.
Okay.
But like it's suddenly like, oh right, it's the same character. They're very visually distinct, but it's the same person. Also, for the goofiness of what it is, the thing they introduce at the end is really fun and some really cool bits, and it's just nice to have something like that in it. Also, there's like a logic moment in it that I missed my first viewing that I'm kind of like, oh, that's quite clever. They've accounted for size differences. And that's all I'll say. But, no, I'm liking where Dinosaur is now. It's having that vibe of this is ending happily, nothing bad will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know those episodes.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious to see where it goes, but I'm pretty happy with Dinozenon. Dinozenon is not Gridman.
No,
and I did expect it to basically be Gridman, but when I realized what it was, I actually got pretty damn comfortable with the show. I do agree. Like, I really wish there was more narrative focus than there was, but I'm pretty pleased with where it is with what they were. When I realized what they were trying to do, when I was thinking they were trying to do Gridman Part 2, I was getting disappointed in the show, but it's hit me what they're trying to do specifically, and I'm just like, okay, no, this is something different. It's not as bombastic as I'd hoped, but I'm good. What it's really lacking, in my opinion, is a strong villain.
I haven't watched the newest episodes, so I can't say for sure, but it feels similar to a lot of the Trigger shows, like Beast, what was it called?
B&A?
Brand New Animal?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, at least with B&A, they were doing a lot of world building. You don't really need to do that here.
No.
And they're only very light. I don't feel that there's a real strong narrative going on. It's like all very light at the moment, and it's mainly like it's almost like a slightly more serious undertone to a Sentai series. Like, the stories are very light, but there is a little bit more underneath, but they never go too far into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, they
and
do.
I'm still waiting for it to kind of kick off, and I'm afraid it'll be like, again, like the Trigger thing of it won't actually really kick off until the last few episodes, and I'll be like, where was this for the rest of the series? Don't rush it right at the end.
I will say, like, there is resolution to the big emotional thing. At least I think it's like, I'd say 50% to 60% resolution on the female, on the sister thing.
Okay.
Which I actually think if they left it there, I'd almost be okay with it. I'd like them to delve more, but if they left it just like shit, no, I might be okay with it. So yeah, that was TV wise. Everything on note, I think.
And you've done game, yeah.
On game.
You got toys.
I did. I will say this now. We were alluding to this on the internet, and I've been trying to avoid pictures of Nendroids for the last couple of days because HoloLive is doing a bunch of Nendroids, and
yes.
I'm just like, don't do Miko, don't do Miko, don't do Miko. They did Miko,
it's Miko, Mikey.
Yeah, they did Miko. They're also doing Figmas of Generation 3. We've only seen Pekora and Rushi, I believe. But yeah, the Nendroid. And they're doing,
I haven't seen the Rushi one.
I saw the prototype.
Okay. Yeah, we've seen a colored Pekora.
Yeah. But yeah, the Nendroid, and then I was just like today, they're not gonna go too crazy with the Nendroid stuff because it's like, okay, it's gonna be simple stuff. And then I saw the Nendroid Matsuri today, and it's like, oh no, they put it in the face.
Oh, you'd only just seen that today?
Yes.
Oh,
so
okay. I saw that like on Friday or Saturday when Good Smile dumped a load of images, and I was like, aha, of course they're doing the face, I guess is the best.
I also
way
saw
you
her
can
reaction
describe
to
it.
that, which was prices are just like, well, I can't do that with the new model, but I'll try. And I'm just like, oh no, this means they could do the sunglasses and a few other things on for Miko, and I'm just like, I'm gonna Google something stupid. Can you get add-ons for Nendroids? And I'm just like, yes. And not only can you get add-ons for Nendroids, you can get add-ons sniper rifles, and and they've done an official Nendroid face pack, including Minecraft blocky sunglass face.
Hey, nice. There you go.
And I was just like, do you hate me? Do you hate me specifically? I don't need this in my life, but I'm going to fucking do it because I like Nendroid and I'm a fucking idiot.
And the problem is, as you know, Nendroid and Figma are both incredibly expensive.
They're
like
not
the price of Figmas have just gone up and up and up. Figmas are stupidly priced now. And it's a real shame.
Figma outpriced Figure Arts 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, they're like sometimes 70 quid.
I feel like that a lot of that has to do with the licenses.
Maybe. Yeah, because the engineering hasn't really changed. The quality of the plastic is better. And the risks are much better. But in terms of like their actual like engineering and what they can do, it's not changed drastically. So you're probably right. It might be a licensing thing.
But yeah, so I did get some toys this week. I got 2 Transformers. I got Kingdom, Black Arachnia, and Dinobots. Because I deserve them.
I thought you were waiting for me to clap there or something for you.
I'm assuming
you're
to
clap.
I didn't.
Patchy.
I didn't need that.
Patchy.
I appreciate it, but I didn't need it. So these are two very good toys.
Yes.
Very, very good toys.
I don't have the Dinobots still, but yeah, the Black Arachne is good.
Spider mode is great. I love how the spider mode looks. It is arachnophobia inducing. Like, those are really good legs.
Oh, okay. If you mean the legs, then yeah.
Like, and also, she very convincingly, if you fold the legs up and you turn her over, it looks dead. So if you're somebody who's freaked out by spider legs, this is the best toy to give to them. Transformation is very clever. I would say those instructions are absolute garbage.
Yeah, because it's really like folding the legs up into the back, which the instructions don't convey desperately well.
Yep. And I will say she suffers from a bit of parts collision, which is an issue because she has a lot of paint. She has a lot of paint.
She does, yeah.
And it looks really good. And the robot mode, it looks amazing. It's so on model. And I can say that and not sound like a hypocrite because we've never had that in an affordable toy before. And she's super posable as well. But the transformation is really interesting, and I really like how the legs work, and I really like how you form like the pedipalps and everything else. But it's just I'm a little nervous of paint collision, so I don't transform her too much. But it's one of those things I found it really unintuitive the first time I did it, and the second time I did it, it was just like, oh wow, this is so easy.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's just one of those things where I think very similar to Straxus from years ago. If the collision wasn't as much of a thing, it would be a much better transformer and it would be a lot more playable. But because of the collision, like you say, you just kind of look at it and go, I'm just happy to play with it in robot mode. I think it's not like Alternator's Grimlock situation where you're just like, I hate myself if I ever want to transform this thing, and I'd rather.
I hate this and I hate it.
Yes, yeah, like that's a toy that actively doesn't like you touching it.
Yeah, that was my first Alternator too.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? You like Grimlock? Who would have thought it would be the worst Alternator toy? No one would have assumed that.
No one did. Everyone told me Alternators was great, and I tried this, and I was just like,
you're lying.
Next one was Shockwave, who wasn't great, but was like a palate cleanser. Right. And then Ravage. I love Alternator Ravage.
Well, hang on. Which Alternator Ravage?
Not the tracks, the actual one.
Oh, okay. I never got that one. I had the tracks one, which that's why I was like, well, it's just tracks with the head.
The actual like Jaguar one, it makes no damn sense, but it's so much fun.
Oh no.
But Dinobots, this is a really clever toy. The Raptor mode for what they're going for looks excellent. The hands are ridiculous, but the hands are ridiculous because of a transformation step.
I mean, his hands were ridiculous in the show as well.
But like these are like more ridiculous.
How do you mean more?
Because they are permanently in a single, very awkward-looking, limp-wristed pose.
Sorry. You mean for the Dinobot mode? I thought you meant for his robot
mode.
No. My bad.
But that's for transformation. It's for the transformation because of how they fold up into the back. But this is like really good tampograph paint job on him, so like nice and tough. You ain't scratching this paint off.
Well, we'll see about that.
I've tried. So this is like good quality. Like this feels playable, which Black Arachnia doesn't. If you know what I mean. Plastic is also a bit denser than I was expecting. Transformation is very, very clever. A lot simpler again. Kind of fucked over by the instructions, but a lot simpler than you might expect. One thing I don't like is when you take the feet down, there's parts collision going on there with the tail, but it's kind of like it's just one of those things like you'll get used to it. You learn how to do it.
Is it as bad as Black Arachnia or a little bit less so? Or?
A lot less because there's bending going on, but there's no paint to worry about.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, and the robot mode is also, I will say the robot thigh, the dino thighs rather, they don't come together super great because of how the transformation work, but once you learn how to do it, you can make them stick together.
Is it one of those things where it's like if you cut bits of plastic you could make it come together better?
Not really, because it's
because there were transformers like that in the past where it's like if you shave it will work better.
It's to do with how the tabs come together.
Okay.
So if you shaved it, you'd make it worse.
Fair enough.
So robot mode is amazing. I'll be completely honest. The chest transformation is genius. It looks great. Like the fact that you've got like the top of the raptor head integrated with fake eye parts and everything else. Like they pulled it off so well. The head sculpt is just one of the best Transformer head sculpts I've ever seen. I absolutely adore it. Really good posability. He's got all the standards, and he's got extra joints, because he's got extra joints in his wrist, and he's got really good ankle tilts. Waist joint. The only thing he's missing is an ab crunch, is what I'd say.
And that ain't happening.
No, but I love these two. These have really sold me on the Kingdom Beast guys.
Does it sell you on a Grimlock figure, Mikey?
Not that Grimlock. Because that's still a bad paint job. Yeah. So I'll probably try to see the series at some point, but not that one.
Are you tempted to try and add additional paint to the Dinobot to bring him up? Because I have seen people customize them, and they look really good.
Yeah, no, they do. I that is outside my current skill level. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Especially those spots. But I really, really, really liked it. I'd love if they redid it into... I would say it would be hard because of transformation to do this properly, but the Cyber Raptor would be lovely to see. Not impossible. Like, you could do it into, what was his name? Hardhead, the Beast Wars Neo guy, with no problem.
Oh, the Hardhead dude, yeah.
That would be really easy. So they could do that. I'd love if they did that. But, overall, I highly recommend this toy to anyone, and this has really sold me on the Kingdom figures, and I will, hopefully in the next year or so, be trying to at least complete the Toon roster.
So you'll get Megatron and a Primal.
Well, Megatron definitely is on my radar, because I'll probably have to get him and get Rexy when she comes out. Primal, definitely want to give him a go. Cheetor is the one I was blinking a lot about, but it's Cheetor. No one really likes Cheetor.
I think that's the problem. It's like you want to get all of them, but then you go.
And Rhinox as well would be one I'd be like, okay, but I would love to see these quality of toys on a display. I definitely want to get those. I don't know about fossilizers, just because I feel like to get the most out of them, you just need too many of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother if I were you with the fossilizers personally.
So I really I'm really happy with these two, and I really want to pick up some more, which is really nice to say after so long. Because I was looking at Earthrise stuff today on the same time. I was just like, hey, it's Runabout.
Yeah.
I know he's not very common, but if he's eliciting that response out of me. Well, Wheeljack was there. I was looking at the Decepticon Mirage, and I was just like, I do like this paint scheme, but I wish you were anyone else.
Sure.
But no, Beast Wars Kingdom, I am all in. Please make generations of any characters that are not G1 with this kind of engineering, and I will definitely be looking twice.
Oh, Mikey.
So, if you make the Sunticons like the rumors have it, I will walk through Smiths with a very large blaze.
I don't believe you, because I think we both know that's probably going to happen.
Andy, what did you get up to this week?
Not a huge amount. It's been pretty quiet. I haven't had any time to anime this week. I've been doing a little bit of painting as usual here and there when I was free to do so. Have I actually done anything of significance? I don't think so. I did get a new game. I got Age of Sigmar Stormgrounds on Steam, which is a roguelite turn-based strategy game. So when you do a run, you die. You'll restart the thing, but you'll keep the things you've unlocked along the way. It feels a little bare bones at the moment. You only get 3 factions. So hopefully it'll be one of those games that expands its roster as you go. I do think there's some hitches we found, or I found some bugs to make the game crash, which was a little bit annoying. I've streamed on my Twitch channel, so if you want, you can go and have a look at it. There are definitely some issues with the camera. That kind of the camera, if you zoom out, you can't move the camera, which is kind of antithetical, because sometimes you want to move the camera to the top of the map, even though you're all the way zoomed out. You kind of want to center it, but you can't do that, which is a bit of an issue. Sometimes you'll have select a character to do an attack or to do a move, and the model will just kind of slide on the board rather than doing the actual animation. So there's little hiccups here and there, but it's still a much better game than I thought it was going to be. I was really dubious about how good this would be, and it's for a non-AAA kind of title, it's perfectly acceptable. It's probably a 5 or a 6 out of 10, I'd say. It's not amazing. It's not going to blow your socks off. But I think it's competent, and I think it has the basic grounds to kind of improve on and keep going. And I'm enjoying playing it. Like I say, I like Warhammer. I like the setting. Age of Sigmar. It's the first proper Age of Sigmar game, so that's also kind of neat as well. I don't think I've watched anything. I know I've had another realization that I'm getting older because I have taken an appreciation of watching Grand Design Australia, where they make a house. And it's a very, it's a very upper middle class to very rich person idea of like, oh, I want a house. I'm going to design it from the ground up and it's going to be its own unique thing. I find that, like, as a kid, I wouldn't have cared. But I think now as an older man, like, watching the process of someone build their own house is really fascinating and horrifying as well when they say how much things cost when a setback happens. It's not something I could ever afford, but I think it's very cool. I think, like I say, the process of... Because you own land, Mike. It'd be like if you decided to go on Grand Designs and you were like, I want to have this really amazing house.
Yeah.
It would be something like that, and you make, like, a giant pyramid or something. With a throne on top of the very top of the pyramid for you to sit on.
And mock.
Yeah. Mock as the people drive by. I could see you doing that. Is there anything else? I do not think so. No. I'm going to say no. No. Well, since I've said no, Mikey, we do have questions. We'll start off with Tentamon 4. And this is related to the previous podcast. Some of it I don't, and I'll need Mikey's brain to tell me what was up here. So I'm relying on you, Mikey. Okay, so the message starts off with, wait, don't the, in quotations, mus suffix relate to the primes and Galvatron? This was when me and Mikey were talking about the Dinotron mus.
Dynamus, yes,
called.
We got a reveal.
Dynamus,
we found out what that was.
Yeah, it was properly revealed rather than it kind of just popping up in the middle of the show last week.
Yeah, it turns out it's Unicron.
It's a little lame.
Yeah.
And Dynamus Prime is kind of a fanfic nonsense I can get behind. There you go.
I mean, also, I went through like Dynomus, Dinotron, Dinoblast, Dinocronus. Like, I thought of like 6.
Oh, fair enough. It also goes... You'll need to read this word for me, Mikey, because my brain's not working at them.
Cholera.
Cholera, okay. Also, Andy, cholera is an old-time disease that I assume is just as bad as the plague, so picking between them is slightly pointless.
Not so old-time. Not as bad as the plague, but very bad.
This is why I needed help with, because I can't remember I can't remember us talking about cholera.
So I'm just fine. Like, I could tell you what I know about cholera, but
no. It's more so. Did we talk about cholera last week?
I mean, you probably said it. It's to do with ingesting what you're ingesting in your water. Usually, leads to a lot of diarrhea, which can last for a few days, and if it's really bad, can kill you.
I don't remember talking about cholera last week.
Don't know, but it is not worse than the plague. It's very bad. It's very common in poorer countries, and is a serious health issue there. But the plague is to the plague what your matches are to a wildfire.
Besides, the plague was cooler. Boom. So, picking between them is slightly... picking between them slightly pointless. Still want more...
Gone? I want something to hug all of a sudden.
No hugging. Still want more Vetra. The She-Garrus, though. I think that's related
massive.
To... What's it called?
That's
Andromeda,
Andromeda.
Isn't it?
That's the Lady Turian from there who is a love interest, I believe.
Maybe. I think I remember seeing it and being like, yeah, I'm alright with this for a female Turian design. I
remember I was alright until I saw her character and they made her like a lot more resigned and like pull back. And like, there was a reason you should only date Telly and Garrus.
No, totally. Yeah, like in terms of a character, she was bad, but in terms of like, because it was the first time we saw a female Turian. I was
design
was
cool.
He had reach. She had flexibility.
She was taller than you.
That was a reference.
I know, but I'm focusing on what I give a shit about.
No, you don't give a shit about the sexual tension between Garrus and Shepard. Come on, Mikey, get the fuck on board.
Listen,
Mikey.
Listen. I do. I just always did Tally, so I'm not as familiar as the specifics of it after 10 years.
Disturbing.
I'm so sorry. I'll play Legendary Edition as female shepherd just to bang Garrus, and then they tell you, do I get all the references that people put out on the internet? All right?
The answer is yes, you should get all the answers, the references. That's just a thing, Mikey. Get on board.
I know all the Tally ones. Because it's Tally, and I love her in real life. I would...
Please, Shepherd, put your pants back on. I'm dying of disease.
Her thing was more like, I'm dying of disease, I have everything known to man, and I'd like to do it again, please.
Yep. I'm ill, I'm dying, let's have sex.
They changed that infamous picture in Legendary Edition, I heard.
Oh, the picture of Tally or something.
Yeah, whichever. It's like, well, they got on Google and got a freeware of some model and changed the skin
right.
blue. And now,
yeah, that was terrible.
It was, and then I saw what they replaced it with, which is like not good either.
Is it like Kang and Kodos?
No, that would be interesting. It's basically just kind of a generic blank humanoid face with pale skin.
Oh.
And I'm just like, come on, if you're going to do that, make her like make her like classic alien. You don't have to be blue, but make her like she's got ridges, or make her monstrous. Make her something like Garrus.
When you said make her alien, I thought you meant like alien.
Xenomorph.
Yeah, xenomorph. I was like, that would be an interesting date after that.
Interesting date. It's just like,
yes.
Don't drink my blood. But
I'll die of disease, but I'm poisonous too.
Like, if you can date Garrus, and he looks like a raptor bird thing, why does Tally have to look so human? She's got backward legs. She's got like bird ankles, for Christ's sake.
She's got chicken legs.
Yeah, make her a chicken. She's the most charming chicken.
Yeah.
Not called Kiara, I suppose, but she's still a pretty charming chicken.
We also have a message from Simon Tang. Hi, Andy, Mikey and Andy. I'll read it the right way. It is Mikey and Andy. Happy summer. No, there is no happy summer because the burning sun god.
I had to go out and everyone was like, oh, it's a lovely day. And I'm just like, I hate you.
I'm melting. I'm dying. My skin is crusting over. I hate this. I am
not
a vampire.
Sunny children.
No, I like autumn, but winter is good as well.
Yes.
Time to stay indoors, away from Mother Nature. Agreed. Because also the death pollen is on the route. It's coming.
Yeah.
What do you think about broken toys? Do you treat toys differently when a toy or model kit is broken? I used to get really upset when I started collecting many moons ago. Excuse me, but now I just kind of accept it as part of toy collecting. What really sucks is, unlike when you were younger, you are usually the culprit or the last person to touch the piece. Unlike when you were younger and it could have been a friend or a sibling, those assholes. I added that. That was not included. And you are even more careful than you were as a kid. Recently, I broke the hinge on Mikey. I recently broke the hinge on my. What do you think it was? What kind of figure do you think it was? It's a Transformer.
Weird Wolf.
No, a kind. What kind? Like what? Like Legends
or Battle Master Ramp.
Really? That's what you're going for? You're not going for a more obvious one?
That's what. Like, I don't know. It's the first. I've heard people talk about that a lot in the last week, that they're breaking on people. So that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Masterpiece Hound was the answer.
Yeah, I forgot. Do you know why I didn't go for him?
Why?
I forgot he was a thing.
See, I thought you would have just gone for Masterpiece as a type because, like, Masterpiece, as we've talked about many times before, Masterpieces just like to die.
I like how terrified everyone is of skids. Like, hang on, skids costs a lot less. What's going on?
The quality's even worse on him.
But like, skids
he's made out of tissue paper.
Prices.
That is weird.
What you doing, Takara?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I completely forgot Skids was coming out again, and it's like, yeah, what's going to be wrong with Skids? What's going to break on Skids? But I wanted to make that joke because it's like, oh, a hinge broke on my Masterpiece toy, and I'm like, yeah, it's a Masterpiece toy. It happens.
No one cares.
You do if you spend that much money on a hound.
If you spent that much money on bloody sea spray,
I mean, I'm asking for it to be fair.
You break it yourself.
Throw against the wall. Fuck. Even though it's not visible in either bot mode or vehicle mode, it really irritates me. It really irritated me. I had to move it to a place where I can't see it. Oh no! And now I'm just resigned to it. The more complex the toy is, the more chances that it will break. No, that's very true. I mean, look at the CM's Gao Gaigar.
Don't look at the CM Gao Gaigar. Please don't.
Yeah. Very complex, very brittle.
What are joints?
Maybe
who needs anything to hold together?
Maybe I'll start collecting statues. Oh, well, they can still break, my dude.
Yes, and if they break, say goodbye to the grand costume.
Yeah, exactly.
And
pretty,
when
but,
they break as well,
happen.
It won't be something you can cover up. It'll be like this shattered arm or something.
Well, you could, but you'd need to glue it on. Then you'd need to sand, add in
and you'd have
putty, and then you'd need to spray it.
And then
it would be a real pain.
Yeah, no. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I'd die inside.
I have broken the toe off of my Unicron statue. It's not that noticeable, thankfully, but it's one of those things I'm always aware of and like, oh, fuck's sake. And now that I'm a bit more confident with painting, I'm like, should I just glue it back on and try and do stuff? I'm like, no, I'll probably fuck it up. I won't bother. Maybe start collecting statues. And in a way, they are... Since an adult collectors, we don't actively have to handle it. Okay, so yeah, we don't need to touch the statue because there's no interactivity to it because it's a statue. That makes sense. Mikey, what do you think about this? How do you treat your broken toys? Do you break them? Is it anybody else that breaks them?
I asked them what mistakes they've made in life.
Is it not your mistake because you broke them?
No, it's their fault. They're the ones that fucked up. I didn't break. Wow.
Mikey didn't break.
They broke. It depends really. If it's a really obvious or bad break, I tend to just... I used to be annoyed, properly annoyed. It's just oh my god, I spent money on this. Especially if I've had this for a week. Or you've had you didn't realize how delicate a toy it was, and oh my god, I snapped off the wings off this dragon figure or something like that, which has happened to me.
Yeah.
A couple of times. But I got used to it, and I was like, okay, I'll adjust. Can I easily get a replacement? Okay, I will. Can I get an exchange? That'd be good too. If not, how do I feel? I've got a model kit where there was a breakage on one of the legs, which really limits the posability, but still stands happily enough. Still looks good in its static pose. I'm happy enough. I'm happy with him being there. I'm happy enough.
What about a model kit that just is missing its lower half?
Well, he's sitting there. He's not missing his lower half. He's missing his thighs.
Oh, it's the thighs. Okay, I thought it was the entire lower half.
I've ordered spare parts, so we'll see if they'll arrive. Okay. But it's probably... I don't want to have to buy an entirely new kit, but
you shouldn't have to.
The base X1 shouldn't be too expensive, in theory. So it's something I've learned to live with. I think you have to. I think you really have to develop a bit of a thick skin about it in a way, because it will happen to you. If you're living in a warm climate, your clear plastic is going to explode. If you're someone who transforms your figures a lot, you're going to have moments where you pull on something you shouldn't. If you buy a Masterpiece figure, you are going to have to watch 6 videos before you even touch it to learn which bit to avoid. And how to fix things. Masterpiece will teach you toy engineering, because you will need to fix things. I think as long as you're going with the right attitude, it's not too bad. It can be very frustrating sometimes. I've never gotten to where I want to switch to being just a statue collector full stop. But there are moments where just I wouldn't buy from this company again. Especially since I'm quite broad. I buy from different companies. I'm not just a Transformers collector. So I do have okay, I've learned my lesson. These are not the guys to shop with from the future.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. What about you, Andy?
I do get bummed out about it. I guess you just, like you say, Simon, you just kind of got to suck it up and just go, oh, okay, here we go. And like Mikey said, at that point, you either got to go, is it repairable? Yes or no. If it's not repairable, is it gluable to the state where you can just put it in a pose and just never touch it? And like you've done, I guess, never think about it again. Or can you buy a new one? One of the things that I broke, which I was really annoyed by, was I got my Overlord, and the ramps that go on his legs.
Yeah,
the green ramps. Yeah. I put those together because I was taking them upstairs. So because the way that they attach, if you didn't know, was there is a peg and a port basically, but the port kind of comes outwards, so you can peg it onto his leg. So the peg goes obviously in the port, and there is a port that goes into a peg. and that's how it connects. I kind of twisted round the because they're kind of the opposite way for each of the legs. So I kind of, one was upside down, one was the right way up, and I stuck them together to try and carry them upstairs. I dropped them out of my hand. They landed on the ground, and one of the pegs kind of broke off. It's still able to go on to the leg because it still has the port part, but it's one of those things that I know that behind that is a broken ramp, which annoyed me. But luckily, it's not that big of a deal, but it is one of those irritations. One of the other irritations was I got a Dinosaurus, G1 Dinosaurus, but it was missing its back heel spur. And obviously I can't just buy a new one.
Yeah, no, that's a oof.
Yeah, like that wasn't my fault. That was the seller's fault. I did have someone send me a back heel spur, but for some reason, someone decided it would be a good idea to throw it away, and it wasn't me. So I was slightly annoyed when I found that I'd been shucked out. I was like, oh, but I needed that really badly. Thank you. Yay. Do you have any questions, Mikey?
Nope. It's a quiet week for me.
All right, then, Mr. Mikey, thank you very much for coming on by. Where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and you can send us emails on moonbase2@gmail.com, including telling me to harass shops for sponsorships. And you can also send us messages on Twitter, on the Moonbase2 Twitter, on Facebook, on Libsyn, on Patreon, on Weebly, and anywhere else you can think of, really, we're about. Andy, what about you?
True. You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, YouTube as Corporate Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on Moonbase 2 forums on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. You can find us on Weebly as the ccbunker.weebly.com. Pardon. Yeah, you can also find us on patreon.com/moonbase2, and if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version of From the Files of Teletran 2. Which went up this week. That's something I did. I put up the Patreon show where me and Mikey talk about Volume 3 of Hulk. We also talk about Atomic Robo Volume something, the Sky She-Devil Mean Ladies.
Which, by the way, remember we said it would be nice if they went into deeper depth on them? On the...
Oh, yes. Yeah,
turned out there is a real science adventure story that is like 4 issues on them. I didn't realize it was out.
Which you assumed would probably be the case, because you said, well, spoilers for that show, but you also said it would kind of work better as one of those stories. So, well, there you go. That makes sense. You get Moonbase Woo Woo as well. And I think for the one that we're doing for this month will probably be us talking about VTubers.
Yes, and talking about why for the last year you can't get away from it.
It's true. They are everywhere.
Yes, to the point where the world is realizing it.
Yeah, I think that'll hopefully be able to go up on like Wednesday or Thursday this week, hopefully. And you can find me on Twitch at 11 o'clock UK time playing games on Twitch TV or twitch.com/CCTFW or whatever it is. I'm CCTFW there as well, whatever it might be. Anyway, Mikey, thank you very much for coming on by and hanging out and talking Transformers with me this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, and until next week, everybody, we'll see you suckers next time.
Bye-bye.
Ah!